Morning, guys. This is part two. So we did a video of Joe and Rare Elvis photos this morning. I really enjoyed it. I only did the first, I think, half of it. I'm going to try and come back and do the second half. But I think the main bit I wanted to get in to this morning's show on when we discuss Joe at Rare Elvis photos, Joe Sins, who's a friend of mine, who I get on very well with, who supports what we do. Was firstly, I wanted to expose this Freddie Calabro guy, this disgusting, insulting, rude human being. Unfortunately, we at Defending Elvis, we get some pretty disgusting things sent to us. Yeah. So this Freddie Calabro just, oh God. You'll see the comment in Joe Rare Elvis photos. Just, what's the matter with these people? Just because we have different views, just because we defend Elvis, they attack me personally, my family, my wife, everything about me. Literally, like, how can I explain it? It becomes personal. They can't just have different views. They can't just go, oh, do you know what? I think this, I think that. No, they have to insult me as a human being. Disgusting. Shame on these people. Freddie Calabro. Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do is play. This is a review from What Now Net, Priscilla Presley's book review, Softly As I Leave You, chapter 19. This is my plan, to review this, listen to this lovely lady discuss the book. Obviously, you know how I feel, guys. This is a trashy book. A fake book, a book of lies. Don't believe any of it. The purpose of this book is to make Priscilla look good, to make Priscilla look like a victim, and to point the finger at everyone else, including Elvis, Lisa, Michael Jackson, Ginger Alden. This is an attack, yeah? And I don't believe half of the things in this book. I think this is a book of lies. Just my opinion, guys. Everything I say on all my shows is for entertainment purposes only, not fact, just opinion sharing discussion YouTube channel. That's all we are, guys. I'm in a bit of a rush, so I need to get on and play this. It's quite a long one, so I'm hoping we can do this in one show. Of course, I have to review it, so I have to stop and start. Sometimes I get people saying, oh, why do you keep stopping and starting it? I have to. I literally have to. YouTube will not allow me to play this video without stopping and starting it and giving my critique, my commentary. So that's the rules, guys. Otherwise, they will shut us down, give us YouTube strikes. That is why I stop and start. So please, no rude messages about it. So anybody leaving any disgusting comments concerning me, my family, or my group, Team Elvis, or Defending Elvis, I will expose you on Facebook, on YouTube. So please stop. Here goes, guys.
Welcome back. Today I'll be going over chapter 19 of Priscilla Presley's book, Softly As I Leave You. Priscilla starts off this chapter with an excerpt of Lisa Marie's song, Lights Out. Someone turned the lights out in Memphis. That's where my family is buried and gone. Last time I was there, I noticed a space left next to them there. Priscilla says that in a recent interview, she was told that the Presley family was plagued with tragedy, and she agrees that they've had their share of heartbreak. She says that Riley said in an interview, she put it perfectly, their losses are no different than the losses that everyone else suffers. Death doesn't discriminate. It's inevitable in every family. And she said that the only difference is their losses are public because they're famous. Priscilla says, quote, you lose the ability to mourn in private, for photographers compete to sneak pictures of you at your own child's funeral. She says that the family has...
I get that, guys, but come on. Look, the one thing I'll say about Priscilla is she is fame hungry. She is fame hungry. She loves attention. She loves attention. The spotlight. She loves the attention from the press, from TV interviewers, from doing shows. You know, come on, she loves it. When poor Lisa left us, within minutes, she was sending out that post via, I think Bridget Cruz might have sent it out. She's attention hungry, guys. She loves it.
endured a painful pattern of loss too. The Presleys bury their children. Gladys buried Jesse, Elvis's twin. Vernon buried Elvis. Minnie Mae Dodger buried Vernon. Lisa Marie buried Benjamin, and Priscilla buried Lisa Marie. Priscilla said that burying your child is a pain that is just beyond description. She had no
I agree.
clue when she was counting down the new year on December 31st, 2022, that she would lose Lisa Marie within a couple of weeks and almost lose Navarone too. The first week of January 2023, Priscilla, her friend Christopher, who's a photographer, and Navarone visited an animal refuge center that her friend owned. The center was fostering 2 camels that they had rescued. These camels had performed in a circus and had been abused.
So guys, I'll be honest with you, this story is horrible, horrible. You know, no mother could go through this. This is like one of the most horrible stories I've ever heard. You know, I know you've got strong feelings about Priscilla and Navarone, yeah, but this is bad.
Navarone, who was always the curious one and fascinated by exotic animals, asked if he could go into the pen with the camels. Priscilla said that the camels looked calm enough, so the staff let him go into the enclosure. So he walked in to the enclosure. It was just a chain link fence, and excuse me, Priscilla and Christopher stayed on the other side. When he was in the pen, he asked if he
I mean, this is hard to listen to, guys. This is extreme.
could feed the camels, and so the handler gave him 2 bags of popcorn. The first camel just grabbed the entire bag of popcorn and ate it, and so with the second camel, he offered the popcorn out of his hand. He grabbed a handful of popcorn and offered it to the camel. But the camel took Navarone's hand, his entire hand, into its mouth and wouldn't let go. And so when Navarone tried to pull it back, his hand back, the camel had twisted Navarone's arm and then threw him to the ground. The camel then sat on Navarone. And Priscilla says that the camels weigh about 1,000 pounds. Navarone was screaming, "Mom, I'm going to die, I'm going to die." And that soon, shortly after, he stopped making any sounds. At that point, the camel bit down on Navarone's head and wouldn't let go. And she said that there was just blood pouring down Navarone's neck. Priscilla was screaming for help, and she climbed the fence into the enclosure. Christopher and the handler were trying to get the camel to let go of Navarone, and Chris was beating it with a stick, but the camel just refused to budge. Priscilla said that she was watching her son die before her own eyes, and he would have had it not been for the rescue center's, one of the
Now that is a nightmare, guy. That is a nightmare.
rescue center's dogs. This German Shepherd came up barking frantically at the camel, and when the camel didn't move, the dog started attacking the camel's face. The camel finally let go of Navarone's head and walked away. And I wonder, did the rescue center train the dog to do that? Or did the dog just instinctively know that something really bad, that the camel was doing something really bad and went into attack? Either way, give that dog a raise and lots of treats. Anyway, so
The dog saved her life. The dog saved Navarone's life. Yeah, I actually had a German Shepherd when I was a kid growing up called Vegas. Do any of you remember the Dan Tanner Vegas show? We had a German Shepherd, and we named our dog Vegas after that show. But that story is horrific.
So Navarone crawled away, and Priscilla helped him to his feet. And they called 911, but then they realized that they could get to the hospital faster if they drove Navarone themselves. Navarone didn't have any broken bones, thank goodness, but he did require 34 staples to close up the bite. Priscilla said
Shocking, guy. This is one of the most shocking stories I've ever heard.
that he was lucky to be alive, and she was just glad that he was okay. What she didn't know,
Come on, we don't wish that on anyone. You know, no matter what your feelings are about Priscilla and Navarone, this is bad.
was that a week later she would be at another hospital, this time with Lisa Marie. The last duet that Lisa Marie did with her dad was called Where No One Stands Alone.
Tina, shh.
And Priscilla says that she teared up when Lisa showed her the video. She says it was amazing to watch Lisa sing gospel with Elvis. Priscilla says that everyone close to Elvis knew that he loved gospel, and she recalls the time when she and Elvis were walking past the Church of Christ in Memphis, and they heard people singing How Great Thou Art. She says the Church of Christ doesn't use musical instruments, so what they were hearing were these powerful voices singing in harmony. She and Elvis stood there listening to the singing until the voices went silent and the service started. Because Elvis
What a lovely story, guys.
loved gospel, Lisa associated gospel with her dad. Priscilla says that's why she thinks that Lisa Marie titled her autobiography after a lyric from Where No One Stands Alone. Lisa needed to know that she would not be alone from here to the great unknown. Priscilla says that
The sad thing is, Priscilla never talks about the book From Here to the Great Unknown. She never promotes it. I really wish she would. The other person that I think should promote it and push it is Jerry Schilling. It's like the book From Here to the Great Unknown. It's like it's been forgotten. It's like it's been brushed under the carpet. You know, this is Lisa's words, isn't it, guys? So it's a real shame that Priscilla has never pushed her daughter's book.
Lisa hadn't attended her dad's birthday celebration at Graceland for a few years, but a few days after Navarrone's camel attack, she flew to Memphis for Elvis's 88th birthday celebration. That year was going to be special because there was going to be an exhibit honoring Baz Luhrmann's film Elvis, and they displayed costumes and artifacts that year at Graceland. She said it was a rare public appearance for Lisa after Benjamin's passing. Lisa spoke to the crowd about how proud she was of the film and expressed her gratitude for everyone who continued to honor her father. Priscilla said that Lisa was thin but seemed to be doing well. Priscilla doesn't say whether she was at this event or not. Baz's film had earned 3 Golden Globe nominations that year, and both Priscilla and Lisa were invited to invited to attend. It was being held at the Beverly Hilton. Lisa asked Priscilla if they could go together, and Priscilla said yeah. Priscilla said that although Lisa was still...
So is that true? Did Lisa ask if they could go together? Yeah, I got a feeling she didn't, but let's keep going.
Upset with her about the custody dispute, she said that the film, especially Austin Butler, helped bring them together. She said the film...
There's more to it, guys. There's more behind the scenes that went on. I don't think it was so nice as Priscilla puts it in her book. To me, it feels like the whole thing was very forced. That Lisa was forced to reunite with her mum. Don't forget, Lisa was threatening a lawsuit against her own mother, and Riley allegedly, with the email, if I've got my facts right, guys, tell me if I'm wrong, prevented the lawsuit.
Quote, had given us common ground again. It reminded us of what we shared, and it united us in our love for her father.
Does anyone agree that actually happened?
Priscilla said that for the last couple of months, Lisa Marie had been complaining of stomach pains. And she said that a couple of years earlier, Lisa told her that she was having, quote, a little cosmetic surgery. Lisa didn't disclose that it was gastric bypass surgery. Because Lisa had had cosmetic procedures before, Priscilla didn't think too much of it. Priscilla says that it was...
So that's the first time I've heard that, the cosmetic surgery, but it's the first time I've heard that Priscilla didn't know that the surgery she was having was obviously the gastric bypass, yeah? Is this true, guys? Cosmetic surgery, that's a very different word than, this proper operation, yeah? This gastric bypass.
For Lisa
I'm a bit unsure about this.
Marie to complain about any ailment, so this raised a red flag for Priscilla. She told Lisa to go see a doctor. Lisa said that she would. She didn't. And she learned that Lisa was also ignoring Riley's request for her mom to go see a doctor too. Priscilla says
So is that true? Was Riley saying to her mum, Lisa, to go to see a doctor? I don't know. Probably, yeah, but I wonder.
She saw Lisa Marie at the Golden Globes. The moment she saw her, she knew that something was wrong. Lisa looked pale, and despite wearing a long black dress that went up to her neck, she could see how skinny she was. Lisa
Yeah, I think we all knew, didn't we, guys? We all remember watching it at home. We all knew something was seriously wrong. I don't think we thought she was going to die, but we all knew something was very, very wrong. Jerry Schilling was literally holding her up.
Lisa was also struggling to walk. She was wearing heels that she had worn before and was accustomed to wearing, but she still struggled walking. Lisa had asked Jerry Schilling if she could hold on to him as they walked so that she wouldn't fall. Priscilla reflected on how Jerry would watch Lisa as she learned how to walk as a baby at Graceland. And now, 50 years later, he was there to help her so that she didn't fall. She called Jerry, quote, Lisa's kind surrogate uncle, still watching out for his friend's daughter. Priscilla.
Well, I've got different views about Jerry. I don't think it's straightforward with Jerry. Yeah, there's many people that think that Priscilla and Jerry Schilling have been too close. Don't forget, once Priscilla got power, everything had to go through Priscilla. Everyone needed to, if they wanted to make money, it all went through Priscilla. Priscilla was the queen of Graceland. She had a lot of power. So I always wonder how many of these people sucked up to Priscilla for decades to make sure that they carried on making money. And I worry about Jerry. My concerns with Jerry are good and bad. Good and bad. I don't think it's straightforward with Jerry Schilling. I wish he would come out and support this book. I really do. So I just think they got too close. And there are rumors of that they got even closer than they should have done, even way back in the 60s. So put it in the comments, guys. Do you think Jerry Schilling and Priscilla got too close?
Said that she noticed that Lisa seemed a little out of it and was slurring her words a bit, and she thought perhaps Lisa might be under the influence of something. She and Jerry had tried to keep Lisa away from the camera.
Come on. The other thing is, guys, is that when they try and bring up substance abuse with Lisa Marie, they're ignoring the fact that she was sick. She was in a lot of pain. Yeah. You're sick, you're in pain. You go to your doctor, he gives you painkillers. Some of these painkillers are opioids. Yeah. So they try and call her a druggie or an addict, substance abuse, whatever you want to call it. But what about she was just sick? She'd had an operation and she had complications from the operation. And she was in a lot of serious pain in her stomach. So it's not fair to call her a druggie.
But it was difficult because Lisa was so proud of Austin Butler that she would talk to anyone with a microphone about him. The Golden Globes is a seated dinner event.
Guys, we know that Lisa absolutely adored Austin Butler, loved his portrayal of Elvis. She adored Baz Luhrmann. She absolutely loved the film Elvis's Baz Luhrmann movie. She thought it was a relaunching of Elvis, and that it restored his dignity and his self-respect. So come on, Lisa loved that film. Yeah.
And Priscilla said that they barely ate anything. Lisa probably didn't eat much because she said her stomach was starting to hurt again. And Priscilla said that
I bet you it wasn't just starting to hurt. I bet it was unbearable pain. Yeah. I think Lisa was in a lot of serious pain. Honestly, guys, that's why she was on so many painkillers.
She doesn't eat much at events anyway, but she didn't eat much because she was excited for Austin and his nomination, and she was also concerned about Lisa. Austin won Best Actor, and Priscilla says that she and Lisa were exhilarated. Priscilla says that
I'm really pleased that Lisa had this time of happiness. This was a real high for Lisa, yeah. So I'm so glad she went through this. Really a magical time for Lisa, yeah. Just before she passed, so it's very touching.
She was so grateful that she got to experience that moment of joy with Lisa. They both held back tears as Austin delivered his speech that was full of love and gratitude for Lisa, Priscilla, and Elvis. Shortly after his...
I will just say this. I've always felt that for Baz Luhrmann and for Austin Butler, it was so important that Priscilla was on board with this project to guarantee its success. I don't think they needed Priscilla to guarantee the success. of the Baz Luhrmann film. I really hope Baz Luhrmann realizes that he doesn't need Priscilla in his back pocket to make his projects concerning Elvis successful, like Epic. Yeah, Elvis Presley in concert. It doesn't need Priscilla to be a successful project. So even Netflix, it don't need Priscilla for the success. You know, the '68 comeback special. You don't need Priscilla. Remember, Priscilla was the ex-wife. Yeah, she divorced Elvis 4 years before he died. She went on and had a very full life without Elvis. Yeah, so 60 years later, to feel that they need Priscilla to support their project. Why? Why? You know, we're given the impression that to remember Elvis, you need Priscilla. That Priscilla is the reason Elvis is remembered. It's rubbish. The reason Elvis is remembered is because of Elvis fans and because of what Elvis did, how he changed the world. Obviously, because of his talent and his movies, and just the kind, generous, Christian, loving man that he was. Yeah. So Priscilla is not the reason we remember Elvis. This is a real big part of what we do here at Defending Elvis. You know, Priscilla wants us to think she is the reason Elvis is remembered, that the whole fairy tale is because of her. You know, the success of Gracelands, the Living Museum, Elvis Presley Enterprises. She wants us to think everything is about Priscilla, that everything is about the romance that she once had with Elvis way back that ended in 1973. You know, it's a bit of a con, guy. It's not the reality. Yeah, Elvis had a very long life without Priscilla. Yeah, a lot of success without Priscilla. Priscilla was only a brief marriage. Yes, they had one child, but within a year of the marriage, she was unfaithful. Then within 2 years of the marriage, she's unfaithful again. So come on, guys, we need to get real with it.
Speech, Lisa leaned over and told her, "Mom, I need to go. My stomach hurts." So she and Jerry walked Lisa out to get their cars. But then Lisa said, "Let's stop at Chateau Marmont for a drink on the way home," because she wasn't.
Even this bit doesn't make sense. So she's in a lot of pain. And Priscilla is like, yeah, let's stop and have a drink to celebrate. Lisa was in serious pain here. She was massively over medicated with painkillers. So what, let's stop and have a drink and a chat? Don't think so. I don't believe it.
Ready for the night to end. Priscilla said okay, and then Jerry helped Lisa into her car. Everyone.
Don't forget, we also feel that Jerry should have took Lisa Marie to hospital. Yeah, Jerry was supposedly very, very close to Lisa. Yeah. So why why wasn't she taken straight to hospital? Everybody around Lisa should have seen what was happening. It was so obvious that she was unwell, very unwell, could hardly walk. She was being carried, and not one of these people took her to hospital. It makes no sense. They let her go home.
Separately to the awards ceremony because they were all coming from different parts of town. And by the time they got to the restaurant, she said Lisa was very pale and
she was pale at the Golden Globe Awards.
Said that she needed to go home because her stomach hurt. When valet pulled up with Lisa's car, they hugged, and she told Lisa to let me know when you get home. And Priscilla said that she had no idea that that would be the last time she would hug her daughter. Lisa called later to let her know that she had gotten home safely, and Priscilla said that had she known what was to come, she would have stayed on the phone longer just to hear Lisa speak. She asked Lisa how she was feeling, she told her she loved her, and then they hung up. 2 days later, on January 12th, she got a call from Danny Keogh, who was staying at Lisa's house. She says that she immediately knew something wasn't right.
So guys, we know that this story keeps changing. Yeah, this isn't completely factual. There's quite a few reports now that show that this was incorrect.
He said to her, "Nona, Lisa's unwell, you need to come." She asked what was wrong, and he told her that he had woken up early that morning and found Lisa on the floor and that she was unresponsive and there was no pulse. He called 911 and did CPR and then held her in his arms until medics arrived.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? It's heartbreaking. I'm so glad Danny Keogh was there, yeah?
Confirmed that there was no heartbeat, and they used a defibrillator and injected Lisa's heart with epinephrine, which...
So, guys, this is going to be tough, yeah? This is them trying to revive her, and some of you are going to find this difficult. Let's keep going.
Got her heart beating again, so she was rushed to West Hills Hospital. Danny checked Lisa in under a fake name to throw off the paparazzi and asked for, quote, an information blackout. No one was allowed in that area without his permission, and cameras were also not allowed at all. Lisa was then put into the intensive care unit. Danny called Riley, who was out of town for work. After Danny spoke with Riley, he then called Priscilla. Then he called Michael Lockwood and told him to bring the twins to the hospital. Priscilla says she called her cousin Ivy.
So, obviously this young lady's doing the book review of it. She's quite, I wouldn't say she has the most emotional way of speaking. She's quite robotic, but this is tough, guys, isn't it? This version of things might not be accurate. It's Priscilla's version. There's been some different versions being told now in different interviews around the world. And there was Tony Ortega, the guy, I think you've heard of him. He has said that something isn't right here. Many people think something isn't correct here. Yeah, so let's just keep going. This is going to get pretty intense.
And then she called Navarone, and she waited at her house while Vicky went to pick up Ivy. Priscilla and Ivy then sped to the hospital, and she says that by the time they arrived at the back entrance, there were already 2 paparazzo waiting on the hill nearby. Danny came outside to walk Priscilla back into the hospital, and she says Ivy parked the car and waited for Navarone to show up. Priscilla said that there were already close family and friends in the hospital, and after she and Danny vetted everybody, everyone was given passes and then escorted into a private room. Michael Lockwood showed up with the twins, and she said that Jerry Schilling was also there. And she talks about how Jerry was in the next room over when Lisa was born, and now he was there as she lay dying. Priscilla said,
so isn't it, this is, but isn't there also a thing where they say Navarone was there, but now they say he wasn't there? So let's just keep going.
As soon as she walked into Lisa Marie's hospital room, she knew that Lisa was gone. Lisa was hooked up to machines, and there was a heartbeat, but, quote, very little brain activity.
Well, she's not gone. There's brain activity, there's a heartbeat, but Priscilla is saying she's dead. So it doesn't add up, does it?
Priscilla says that she could feel that Lisa's spirit wasn't there.
So Priscilla is saying she could feel that Lisa's spirit wasn't there. Keep going.
She said, quote, Riley later told us that while she was still on her flight, she had felt her mother's spirit pass, but none of us were ready to give up yet. Navarone arrived, and he was brought into the room with Lisa and Priscilla.
But was Navarone there or not? Is there evidence now that Navarone was not there? But I don't know.
Priscilla and Danny. She says that after a while, Navarone asked the question that was on everyone's minds. How long until we know if Lisa is going to start breathing again? The doctor told him it could be 2 minutes or 2 days. She said that after a couple of hours, Navarone couldn't bear it anymore and left the room. Other family members and friends were able to come in 2 at a time to visit with Lisa. Priscilla and Danny stayed in the room the whole time, holding Lisa's hand and telling her that they loved her. A nurse took Priscilla into the private room where Ivy was. And she says that the nurse told Ivy to make sure that Priscilla ate and had something to drink. Just then, an emergency alarm rang from Lisa's room. Code blue. Priscilla started to head back to Lisa's room.
I just find that odd. So you're in the middle of trying to resuscitate your daughter, and then the nurse says to Priscilla, "I'll go and have something to eat." I think that would be the last thing on your mind. You're there. They're trying to revive your daughter, or your daughter is on life support, and then the nurse comes over to her and says, "I'll go and get something to eat." Doesn't add up, like.
She says the nurse whispered to Ivy, quote, "Come with us. I need you to stand right behind her. She's going to fall, and you will need to catch her." When Priscilla was back in Lisa's room, she says a doctor told her that they were able to start Lisa's heart again, but that there was no guarantee that it would keep going. Priscilla says that the doctor asked her about what she wanted to do with Lisa. Okay, so I don't know why I thought Riley would be considered next of kin to Lisa, and that any type of decision like that would be left to her. Riley was an adult. I think she was 33 at the time. So it never...
This is crucial, isn't it? Why wasn't Riley the person that made the decision whether or not to turn off the life support or the do not resuscitate? Why was it Priscilla the 78-year-old mum. It doesn't add up. Of course, Riley was 30 odd. Plus, you got the twins, of course, and Danny Keogh's there as well. But none of this makes sense. Why did Priscilla make the decision to do not resuscitate? Why didn't she wait for Riley, her daughter, who was 33, who was on her way, only hours away? Doesn't add up, guys. Everyone thinks, of course, they should have kept her on life support. She had brain activity, she had a heartbeat. Wait for Riley to come and make that decision, or leave her on life support, leave her connected in the hope she's going to recover. So all of it is bloody weird. Don't forget, we've had this lawsuit now launched by Bridget Cruz, Priscilla's very close friend and business partner. Bridget Cruz is saying that Priscilla intentionally made sure that Lisa was not resuscitated. Yeah? Shocking.
It occurred to me that Priscilla would have the authority to make such an important decision. I mean, yeah, it makes sense that she's her mom, but Lisa had an adult daughter too. Anyway, so Priscilla said that she asked the doctor what kind of life Lisa would have if they kept her hooked up to those machines. The doctor shook his head and said, no quality of life at all. I'm going to quote Priscilla here.
So Priscilla is saying that because the doctor said to her, if she lives, she will have no quality of life, because the doctor's assuming there's bad brain damage. Yeah, guys, no one knows. No one knows. Some people have been revived in a situation like this and have and lived completely normal lives. It isn't a given that when this kind of thing happens, that they're born with serious brain damage, and no quality of life. So, guys, honestly, don't forget, this was done between 7 and 12 hours after her heart attack. Yeah, am I correct? So that tells me that I don't think the average person, if their daughter is dying from a heart attack under these circumstances, yeah, possible brain death, but they're saying there's still brain activity, that within 12 hours you all go, yeah, let's unplug the machine, let's not bother resuscitating her. I think the average parent would be like, would wait weeks and weeks in the hope of their child being rescued, saved, call it whatever you want. Yeah, it doesn't add up. Why between 7 and 12 hours did Priscilla Presley, her own daughter, say, yep, unplug, and didn't even wait for Riley Keogh to turn up? I'd like Riley Keogh to make a statement, because obviously she wasn't there. She was on her way on the aeroplane. Yeah, I'd like to know what Riley Keogh says. Yeah, is Riley Keogh okay that the machine was unplugged? Yeah, the do not resuscitate thing, before she was even able to go there and say goodbye. You think they would at least would have waited for Riley to come and say goodbye, and the twins. Yeah, so I don't get it. I don't understand it. 7 to 12 hours. Most people would have waited weeks. It's beyond me, guys. I'll never understand it. Scylla put it in her book. There was no chance of quality of life, but it doesn't make sense. Doesn't add up.
Here. Quote, I thought about my girl, my wild, rebellious, passionate girl, lying in a vegetative state for the rest of her life. I said what I had to. Take her off the machine, doctor. My voice was barely a whisper.
She shouldn't have done that. I honestly don't think she should have done that. She admits it in her new book, yeah? Softly as I Leave You, chapter 19, yeah? Take her off life support. Riley is on her way. Priscilla whispers to the doctor, take her off life support. Why? I don't think any adult that has kids, even grown kids, would have done that within 7 to 12 hours, knowing that Riley was on her way to see her mum, who was obviously where are you going? Close to death. Yeah, it's honestly, I can't work it out.
And she says, with that, a nurse began unhooking the machine that kept Lisa Marie breathing. Why?
So look, she was breathing. She just said here now, the nurse unhooked the machine that was keeping Lisa breathing because Priscilla told her to. Shocking. This is Priscilla admitting it, yeah?
Why didn't she wait until Riley arrived so that they could collectively make this monumental decision together.
So there we are, the girl who's doing the review. Why didn't they just wait for Riley to arrive so they could make a collective decision to disconnect the machine and stop her breathing? Remember, she had some brain activity.
Was there a rush to make this decision?
So the girl is now saying, was there a rush to make this decision? Then this is what Bridget Cruz is saying in the lawsuit. Yeah, Bridget Cruz, who is suing Priscilla Presley, that Priscilla wanted the machine disconnected. She didn't want Lisa Marie to be resuscitated, to live, because Priscilla wanted to be the Queen of Graceland. This is what Bridget Cruz says. I know it's very extreme. I know these allegations, they're just allegations, aren't they? Now, Bridget Cruz says she can prove it. She's got evidence, yeah? Bridget Cruz says it. That Priscilla said, I'm the Queen of Graceland, only a week after the death of her daughter. So, honestly, guys, this is like out of some kind of episode of Dallas, isn't it? It's like crazy. All of it is nuts.
Priscilla doesn't say in the book that this was a decision that the doctors made her make immediately. Was Danny consulted? Did he have?
So she's saying she didn't have to make that decision immediately because 7 to 12 hours is immediately. And then now she goes on to talk about Danny. Why didn't Danny get involved? What was Danny Keogh doing at this time as well? Very interested to know, guys.
To say? Or did she just make that decision on her own? I'm so confused. And wouldn't Lisa Marie have had some type of like healthcare directive or something in place that would say
which she did. She had a she had a thing. Lisa Marie, we all know this from the lawsuit. She signed documents saying, if I have a heart attack, revive me. Revive me. She actually signed it twice. We've got the document. I've shown you guys the document before.
Do not resuscitate, or yes, let me help, wait as long as possible. So explore all options. I'm just so confused. So Priscilla
we all are. All Elvis fans are confused, shocked.
told Danny that they needed to tell the family and friends that were waiting in the other room, so that they could say goodbye to Lisa. And she says, but just as she turned to leave the room, Danny cried out, "No, don't go. We can't leave her all alone." Priscilla says that she began crying and then everything went black. She doesn't remember much. She says she fell. She doesn't remember falling. She doesn't want to remember falling. She doesn't want to remember anything, but she says Ivy caught her. Priscilla says when she left the hospital out of the back entrance, more paparazzi were waiting on the hill. And by the time Danny left the hospital, a helicopter was overhead and followed him to Priscilla's home. Everyone gathered at Priscilla's house, including Riley and her husband and the Beaulieu members. Later that night, after everyone left, Priscilla says, quote, "I made the announcement that is required when your child is famous." And she posted about Lisa's passing. The next day, fans brought flowers to the gates of Graceland, and there was an outpouring of condolences by fans and celebrities online. I'm not going to read each one, the ones that Priscilla included in her book, but they were all really sweet messages about Lisa. Priscilla writes that the doctors determined Lisa had died from a small bowel obstruction that caused her heart to stop, but that she, Priscilla, and Riley knew that Lisa's heart stopped when Benjamin died. Priscilla ends the chapter saying,
well, that's the other thing that Priscilla now is going around the world on interviews saying, my daughter wanted to be dead because her son committed suicide, yeah? But come on, she had the twins, Finley and Harper, who were only 14, yeah? She had Riley, who was in her 30s. Of course, she didn't want to die. Yes, of course, she was devastated. She lost Benjamin, and committed suicide. I'm sure she had some very serious depression. Maybe even did consider at the time wishing she wasn't alive, but not later. Later, Lisa started to recover. She obviously had this operation to lose weight. She was starting to come back. She wanted to get involved with grief counseling to help people that have lost a loved one, lost a close relative. So Lisa was coming back. She had just gone to the Golden Globe Awards to honour this Baz Luhrmann's film, Austin Butler's film. Yeah. There's no way that Lisa was suicidal at the time of her death. At the time of her death, she was trying to recover. She was losing weight. there's possible that she had a bit of very minor cosmetic surgery. She was getting ready to come back. She was telling the world, look, I want to help people that have gone through what I've gone through. So then you get Priscilla Presley going around all these news channels trying to promote the sale of her book, Softly as I Leave You, telling everyone Lisa wanted to be dead. Lisa, her daughter, wanted to be dead, and she's saying it on the news companies to millions of people around the world in front of her three daughters, in front of the twins, in front of Riley. Who would do that? Who would go on a news company knowing the world is watching to push the sale of a book, her book, and say in front of the twins, in front of Riley, oh, your mum didn't want to be here. She wanted to be dead. Why even bring it up? Why even say it? It's such an extreme thing to say. And she keeps repeatedly saying it. I've heard Priscilla say that Lisa wanted to be dead at the time of her death at least 5 times. At least. Shocking. I don't believe it. It's not true. Lisa Marie Presley did not want to be dead. She was living for her kids, the twins, Finley and Harper, and Riley. She was living for them. Yeah. She'd been staying with Danny Q as well. Lisa was very close with Danny Q, her ex-husband. So it's shocking, guys. All of it. None of it adds up. None of it makes sense. I'm very concerned about Priscilla's behaviour on all of this. Yeah. Now leave it in the comments, guys. I'm going to have to go now, but I'm going to go and walk the dogs. I might go on a live stream on the dog walk. But guys, this is a tough chapter, isn't it? Yeah, a very tough chapter. There's no way she should have been taken off life support. They should have kept her going at least until Riley got there to help make a decision on whether or not they were going to disconnect the machine, unplug the machine. So Bridget Cruz, her allegations are very extreme. You know, Bridget Cruz, the auctioneer that was very close to Priscilla. They were very good friends. Crazy. Crazy.
Quote, I like to believe that her son and her father were there to see her over. I need to believe that my girl is not alone. That's it for chapter 19. Stay tuned for chapter 20, where Priscilla details Lisa's funeral and memorial and what she placed in Lisa's.
Okay, guys, that's finished. So it's obviously chapter 19, the review of the book Softly as I Leave You. One of the hardest things I've had to just sit and witness. We all miss Lisa Marie. Of course we do. We all feel like we grew up with her, don't we? Yeah. Like, I'm 58, so I watched Lisa growing up through the decade. You know, she was amazing. There's no way she should have gone before her mum. Fans sorely miss her, don't they? Just it all needs to be investigated, doesn't it? Doesn't it all need to be properly investigated, step by step, minute by minute, hour by hour, to really get to the truth? I wonder if Bridget Cruz's lawsuit is going to help us get to the truth. I don't think we're being told the truth. I don't think this is correct. Yeah, just an opinion for entertainment purpose, not a fact. But I think there's a lot more to it. We want justice for Lisa Marie. We want justice for Lisa Marie. So let's see how this plays out. Now, remember, Bridget Cruz has said she can prove everything that is in her lawsuits. You know, there's multiple lawsuits now. Priscilla is now fighting back with elder abuse and all that. But please leave comments. Tell me what you feel about the DNR, the unplugging. Tell me what you feel about the fact that Lisa still had a heartbeat, still had brain activity. Tell me what you think about Priscilla. Is she lying? Did she want the machine unplugged? Did she want to be the queen of Graceland? I know it's all very extreme, but leave it in the comments, guys. Gotta go. I'm gonna go and walk the dogs now. So we'll walk Ella now. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Well, you know, I know that this has been a tough thing to go through, guys. Okay, so I send you all love and see you soon.